You're watching the Highlight Zone with Wayne 15 Sports Director Glenn Marini. Local sports coverage you can count on.
Well, to quote author Stephen King, sooner or later everything old is new again. Hopefully, a new season of hoops doesn't end like the old one. The pandemic putting an abrupt close to the Highlight Zone last March, but with limited fan policies everywhere, we're going to be your eyes and ears as long as they let us in the building this season. That said, hoops is back, and Colton Howard joins us with your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. Colton.
Hey Glenn, when last season was cut short, both New Haven and BLACKHAWK Christian were two of the handful of Northeast Indiana teams still alive in the IHSAA tournament. Now, following sectional titles, the Bulldogs and the Braves were getting ready for regionals when that happened. But with that in the rearview mirror, it's full steam ahead for the new season. New Haven at BLACKHAWK, it's your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. Braves ranked 2 in the 2A state polls. They won their opener Tuesday against Northside by 50. Bulldogs had yet to hit the hardwood, that is until tonight, and it showed. First quarter, senior Marcus Davidson pulls up for the mid-range 2. The Braves go on a 16-0 run to start the game. Cue the dancing. Later in the first, hoping to cool BLACKHAWK down, Jackson Turnwald for New Haven ends the run with a 3 in the corner, but BLACKHAWK would have the final laugh of the first quarter. Caleb First hammers it down. Braves lead by 20. And that scoring kept piling up. Second quarter, Jake Boyer opens up from out of the arc with a 3. There's 3 of his 12 points. Still in the second, little brother to Keon Brooks Jr., Darian Brooks gets his first points as a sophomore this season, but BLACKHAWK heads into the half, leading by 33 points, only allowing the Bulldogs 14 points through 2 quarters. To the third quarter, watch this sequence from First. Block on one end, then a slam at the other. Moments later, the Purdue commit finishes with a game-high 21 points. To the fourth quarter, this game well out of reach. Lewis Jones buries a 3. That ties a season-high 50-point lead. And BLACKHAWK moves to 2-0, winning by 53 points, 86-33. Glenn, next up, New Haven is at Northrop on Tuesday, while BLACKHAWK's taking Hamilton out of Ohio tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to Homestead. University of Illinois signee Luke Goody just went over 1,000 points for his career on Tuesday night. The Spartans hosting Warsaw Tigers, led by new coach Matt Moore. He was on the Highlight Zone during his playing days, if you remember, at Columbia City. First quarter, Warsaw starting out hot. Luke Adamek to the rack, and then you're going to see Judah Simfukwe getting the deuce right there, and then how about they hook up? Adamek, watch this no-look pass on the break to Simfukwe, and the Tigers out to an early 3-point lead. However, Homestead and Chris Johnson, they would start to get scoring here. It's Grant Simmons with the reverse. He had 15 points, did Simmons, and then Fletcher Lawyer, the move-in from Clarkston, Michigan, buries the 3. He had a team-high 16 points. This game tied after 1. Second quarter, Jackson Gold getting into the paint, a little stop, pop, and drop for the Tigers. Andrew Leeper, though, the other way with a tough 2. This was tied at the half, but Homestead with a big second half to win this one over the Tigers, 54-31. Spartans victorious. At Leo, the Lions 2-0, facing a Snider team that looks a lot different than they did last year. A lot of graduation. Michael Ely also playing his senior year at Elevation Prep. But Jade Moore, he's a talent. He had 28 points ahead to Aiden Lambert, who had 17. And the Panthers jump out to a 5-zip lead against the Purple Pride. Leo's Wade Davison. How many times have we called his name on the Highlight Zone over the years? 2 of his 19, and Leo back in the lead at 1. Carson Jenkins, one of the stars that they're going to be counting on quite a bit this year for Jeremy Roush's club. He had 26, and Snider in the lead. You'll see Aiden Rubel working it. He would get the deuce here for Leo as the Lions win in overtime over Snider, 91-84, your final. No more Donald S. Weeks Gymnasium on the Highlight Zone. No. New digs for Columbia City as the Eagles hosting Canterbury, and this was a good one. Fourth quarter, Chris Deweese, yes, that knots it at 52, and we would go to overtime in this one. In OT, Greg Bolts He was a staple on the highlight zone during the football season as the big-time quarterback for Columbia City. He can hoop as well. Both the and one. It's a 2-point lead for Columbia City. Here come the Cavaliers, though. It's Will Russell with a little deuce and abuse of his own. Russell had 11 points. This ties it at 56. Down the stretch, Andrew Hedrick had the answer. Late in OT, it's Hedrick. You're going to see him with the jumper. He had 22 points, and this would ultimately be your game winner as Columbia City wins in overtime over Canterbury, 60-56, the final. County rivalry game at the Big Blue Pit. We got West Noble at East Noble. We pick it up in the second quarter. That's Max Bender with the 3, and East Noble stakes itself to a 12-4 lead early in the second. Later in the second quarter, Chris Hood, 6'8". This guy is a terror on the offensive line for East Noble. I'll bet he'll be playing D1 football somewhere. He hits the bucket. He had 12 on the game. It was a 14-4 lead for East Noble. Aiden Zavala, though, with a layup for the Chargers. But you just can't stop Chris Hood. The man can play. His uncle is Brad Miller. You may know him from his, 14 years in the NBA, but Hood's his own man. Look at him use the left hand down low. And then you're going to see Keegan Foster kick in a 3. Foster, like Hood, leading East Noble with 12 points of his own as East Noble wins a low scorer in this one, 40-30 over county rival West Noble. Conference hoops in the NECC. These two shared the conference title last year in the regular season. Westview ranked 4th in 2A, Busco 17th. Mason Yoder with the layup. That's the first bucket of the ball game, but guess what? Westview was on fire from the get-go. However, you're going to see Luke McClure, familiar name for Busco fans. Good outlet from Landon Jordan. It's a layup for McClure. But man, Westview just came to play, and they showed it in the first quarter. Drew Litweiler with the layup. It's an 8-4 Westview lead. You're going to see the big guy, Landon Jordan, though, for Busco, down low and finishing. But it's Litweiler again for Coach Ed Bentley's team as Westview goes into Busco and wins this one 63-48 over the host Eagles. Up at Auburn, Garrett at Lakewood Park. The Panthers led by 6'7" junior Cademan Bontrager. He came in averaging 17 and 10, and well, we show you why. In the first quarter, that's Bontrager with the bucket, and then he got bumped there. They don't foul him here, and that's why he slams it home. We're going to have more from Mr. Bontrager, who had 35 points in this game, but really this was a tight ball game throughout. Third quarter action now. It's Kyle Smith with the 3. And then you're going to see Smith do it again. As I mentioned, this was really back and forth. Late in the fourth, this game's still close. Under a minute to go. It's Bontrager slamming home 2 of his 35 as Lakewood Park beats Garrett by a final of 63-60. Final stop for boys basketball. How about an ACAC boys game? Only one on the docket is Woodland and Southern Wells. And in the third quarter, Simon Henderson, he gets the connection for 2 right there. It's 46-39, Woodland in the lead. And then Joe Reedy throwing the outlet pass to Brendan Donovan for the lay-in. Woodland up by 9. Southern Wells, though, no give up. Keith Miller ahead to Branson Reinhardt for the and one. But at 6'7", the junior Joe Reedy is just going to be a tough matchup for anybody in the ACAC all season long. Watch Reedy here, a little spin and in. Take another look again. That's 6'7" with the guard type skills as Woodland wins over Southern Wells the final 76-60. Warriors on top. Well, that does it for the fellas, but coming up, some of the best matchups tonight are on the girls' side. It's a full slate of SAC action for the ladies, and that includes a couple of early games that will no doubt have a huge impact on who wins the conference crown. We got 4A number 12 Carroll trying to dethrone Ayanna Patterson and 9th-ranked Homestead, plus 10th-ranked Southside takes on undefeated SNIDER. Those games were both down to the wire. We got them and much, much more. Talking girls basketball coming up next in the Zone.
For the Homestead Spartans, girls basketball is next on the Highlight Zone. Woo!
about. But when it comes to the SAC, the conference title goes through Homestead. Since joining the league, the Spartans came into the night 46-0 in the regular season in SAC games. Now, would it be 47-0 after tonight? Well, the Spartans at Charger Fieldhouse, and this was a doozy. We pick it up in the third. Ayanna Patterson misses once. She's not going to miss twice. The and one. Patterson had 32 points in this game, but Carroll up by 8. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Emily Parrott. This one back and forth. She gets the 2, and that helps send it into overtime, tied at 44. Now in OT1, Maggie Kinsley drills the 3, and Homestead leads by 3. Homestead was up by 3 with about 10 seconds to go in that first OT. Carroll needs a 3. They get it. That is Emily Parrott again to tie it at 53 and send it into overtime number 2. And OT2, believe it or not, belonged to Carroll. This team is tough. Nevaeh Jackson with the 2 in that second overtime, and Carroll knocks off Homestead to end that big streak. Double overtime, 62-58 Chargers.
We've always had a big rivalry with Homestead. We haven't won since 2008 against them, so it was just something that we really wanted to accomplish, and we worked hard at the whole game, and we were prepared. We all had talks before, we all texted, and we were all just getting prepared for the game because this was one of the biggest games of our season.
We finally broke a streak that has been haunting us for years. It just showed what it takes to beat a team like Homestead. I mean, Patterson was having a great game, outstanding game. We couldn't stop her, but this team found ways. They have a heart.
Ooh, SAC is going to be real interesting this season. Hey, ranked 10th in 4A, Southside figures to be in that SAC title mix, right? The Archers 3-0 at a SNIDER team that could be in that conference title hunt as well. Third quarter, Jordan Poole. Poole says splash. SNIDER down by 10, though, 39-29. Olivia Smith. Wow, what a great look to CC Callaway. But SNIDER got some power on the inside. You saw the outside game. How about a little inside? Destiny Jackson, a future Loyola Rambler in college. She gets the 2, but the Panthers still down by 10 at 43-33. Lamaya Woodson just recently signed with Youngstown State to play some D1 hoops. She gets the 2, and then Liv Smith. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, she did it. She had 19 to lead the Archers as Southside hangs on to beat a good SNIDER team, 65-61 your final there. Concordia at Wayne. The Cadets ranked 7th in the latest 3A state poll, and in the third quarter we pick it up with Concordia working it, and Concordia's Shantice Craig with the spin and score, a thing of beauty. 30-point lead for the Cadets at that point, 57-27. Emily Diaz a little pilfer, and the pair right there for the Generals. But Concordia, well, they've got a lot of talent. Dave Miller's squad was looking good. Kaylin Bollinger for 3. That's in the third quarter to make it 62-29. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, it's more Cadets, it's more Kaylin Bollinger. She gets the bucket in transition as Concordia, no problem with Wayne, 84-38 over the Generals. Bishop Luers, first game since November 12th. Yeah, that's over 3 weeks. The Knights hosting Northside. It's been a weird year. First quarter, Janiyah Bright with the drive and the deuce. And yeah, Bishop Luers out to a 17-1 lead. And a Parent drilling the 3 for Mark Pixley's squad. Parent had 13 points and 8 rebounds to pace the Knights. The Legends, Olivia Jones. This is right at the end of the first quarter buzzer, and it's good. But in the second quarter, it's going to be more from Luers. This is Jayla Fikes. She finishes. Fikes had 13 in the game as well. Luers no problem with Northside, 82-24, Knights on top. At Bishop Dwenger, the Saints already playing their 9th game of the season. Quiet crowd there. Dwenger hosting Northrop, and well, you can't score a whole lot quicker than this. Off the opening tip, Tiana White gets the bucket, and the Bruins stake themselves, obviously, to an early 2-point lead. However, no quit in the Saints. They're talented. It's Rachel McCarthy for the 3. It's a 5-4 game in the early going. Again, you're going to see Amanda Thatcher, who had an assist on that first bucket, to Tiana White. It's a good combination. She drains it. It's a 10-9 ball game. This one, really good one. Back and forth all night long. Lexi Linder here, watching this with the sweet juke to the rack, as it is Dwenger winning over Northrop in a good one, 58-54, Saints over Bruins. Final stop for Prep Hoops. We got 2 of the better NECC girls programs over the last few years, right? Central Noble and Angola. first quarter action. Lauren Leach to Riley Pepple for the layup, and the Hornets in control. And then it's Hannah Knoll, the future Central Michigan Chippewa, bringing it up. She would stop and pop, trying to make a case to be an Indiana All-Star this season. I think she's got a good case. It's 10-0 Angola in the lead. Central Noble the other way. Bridget Gray to Madison Weiss for 2. But Angola had it going on tonight. Lauren Leach looking for Kylie Caswell. It's a bucket as Angola wins, no doubt about it, 58-37 over Central Noble. Hey, we got more Highlight Zone, including Purdue Hoops and your Gem of the Night, coming up after the break.
We're the Woodland Warriors, and you're watching the Highlight Zone. We're the Lakewood Park Panthers, and welcome back to the Highlight Zone.
When it comes to prep sports coverage in Northeast Indiana, sure, the Highlight Zone is your top-rated sports show by a wide margin. But it's Peter Franklin Jewelers that sets the gold standard. After sponsoring our football show, we're proud to have them on board this year as your title sponsor for the basketball season. So without them, our team wouldn't be able to bring you the area's best coverage every Friday night. So much thanks to Peter Franklin Jewelers. Hey, without further ado, that brings us to this. It's time for your Gem of the Night, brought to you by Peter Franklin Jewelers. And for it, you know what? We decided to go with a girls' play and a guys' play. And for the girls, no doubt about it, it's Emily Parrott draining the 3 in overtime with 5 seconds to go to send it to double OT as Carroll would eventually beat Homestead and snap that SAC streak. And on the boys' side, Caleb First. Oh, they tried to challenge him a bit at the rim, and Caleb First just slams it home. He became BLACKHAWK's all-time leading scorer this past week. Congratulations to Caleb First and to Emily Parrott. What a week for those basketball teams and those players. The Gems of the Night. Hey, a little Friday night college hoops. Last time out, Purdue burying 17 threes. Would shots be falling in this one against Valpo? Well, shots would fall in the first half. It was just for Valpo. That's Donovan Clay as Valpo led by 11 at the half. Second half, shot Sasha Stefanovic for 3. He had 19 on the game. It was a 1-point game. Then Zach Eady, the big freshman, with the jam. And then Isaiah Thompson would get the shooter's touch on this triple. Big second half for Purdue as the Boilers come back to win it 68-61 over visiting Valparaiso.
We let them, hit us first, and we just were lethargic. And it was the same thing as the Oakland game. We started out, slow, and they capitalized. They played really well in the first half, and in the second half we had to fight back.
Purdue's next game is Tuesday night when they play at Miami in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Now, next week's games, we're talking next Friday night here on the Highlight Zone. SAC girls and boys doubleheaders start. And we got Carroll at Concordia, boys and girls. DWENGER at Homestead, boys and girls. Southside at Northside, boys and girls. Wayne at SNIDER, boys and girls. You're getting a theme right there. And in girls only, a key Northeast 8 game as Columbia City heads to Norwell as Coach Amy Shearer's squad takes on Eric Thornton's Knights. Of course, this is subject to change. Norwell's supposed to play Huntington North tonight. They canceled at 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's just the way it's going to be this season. But wherever they're playing basketball, Colton will be there, I will be there, our photogs will be there, and we'll have it all covered for you here on the Highlight Zone. See you next Friday.